Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coached by Coaches. I am so thrilled today to have some new coaches on with us. We are talking about business coaching. We're talking about how you can improve as a realtor. What are we seeing that people are doing that maybe doesn't help them in their career and doesn't help them as a real estate agent? And I'm going to throw all those questions out, let everybody give each other a little introduction. And one question we can always start with is, who's a good coaching client avatar for you so people watching can know, hey, which coach might I want to sign up with? I'm going to throw to Carrie Craig, who's been with the Tom Ferry system for quite a while. And Carrie, I'm so honored you're here. Who's a good coaching client for you?
I would say I'm really good with scripts and dialogues, ideas, helping move people forward that get stuck in, I'm afraid to do it. What do I say? How do I do this? Where they get stuck in that phase of, Tom's big thing at the summit was going through your database. And so I have everybody now pulling up from all their closings in the MLS and then comparing that with what they have in their database just to make sure that they haven't lost anybody along the way, like we know. And then they have to call them. Well, they're afraid to call them. So what do I say? So I help them, give them ideas on what to say, because people get stuck, you know what I mean? What do I do? The ums and the ahs and all of that. So I work with people a lot just to get them comfortable in doing whatever it is that they need to do at an open house. What do I say at the open house? How do I connect with people? Taking it to the next level. At the summit, one of the other guys was talking about every question, take it 3 layers deep. You know what I mean? Don't just stay on the surface, go 3 layers deep with it. And I think that's just huge because so many times our clients just stay up here, and they don't go deep to find out, where are you going? Moving to Texas, great, big state. Where in Texas are you going? So I really work with people on digging a lot deeper into getting so that they get better results from it. So it can be a one-hit wonder rather than going back over and over and over again, and they can just see better results quicker.
Excellent. That's really cool. And I've known you for a while, and I didn't necessarily know that was your niche. So thank you for sharing that. Okay,
Sure.
Coach Colleen, same question. What's a good avatar client for you?
Um, I would say so. I kind of have two, but the main one is usually moms, stay at home or not stay at home parents, but parents who are trying to find like work life balance. But if you want to go into the nitty gritty of like lead pillars and things like that, it would be I would say my passion and my specialty is branding and online awareness and growing your online footprint. And I need Carrie's script, so I stopped saying and yeah, there's just somebody who is sphere based primarily and taking them to the next level of introducing another pillar to them, and they want to go online and helping them build that.
That's very cool. Thank you. Emily Terrell. First, long-time listener, first-time caller. Emily Terrell, you are on the line right now. What's a good
Hello.
avatar client for you?
Ooh, so I actually just asked Tom about AI this the other day, so I have a pretty good answer. But for the most part, for me, most of my clients are the ones that I just absolutely love and get thrilled to coach every day is people who are working on systems and are really experience explosive growth, which I know everybody is, but also have the mindset that they need to 10x something instead of 2xing it. We're going to really focus on systems, basically not overcomplicating and creating a way of solving problems in an easy to manage way, but then also how to really create branding through social media. I do a lot of social media and AI, but then realistically, it's going to be someone who has a passion, right? That they know what to do, but they need help just organizing their thoughts. Almost like my ADHD love clients, right? We need help organizing our thoughts. We need help figuring out how to do it. They know what to do. They just are so busy that they don't know how to really handle it. So that's going to be my primary love clients. Male, female, doesn't matter, right? Age, none of that matters to me. It's really about a mindset of how do we have explosive growth and who's ready to really put the work in.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for that. Okay, Sandra Hendrix. The legend, Sandra Hendrix.
I'm an old coach in this program. Well, I think a lot of you know me already. I love clients that are international clients. I think I am very knowledgeable of how the international real estate markets work because they work really differently. Marketing is differently, the tech stack is different, the SOPs are different. And I think what one of my passions is mindset and how to get to a performance mindset and how to really be self-disciplined, self-reliant, self-leader so that we can get all of those limiting beliefs out of the way and get you in action powerfully with high energy levels because that definitely influences everything you do. I think I am a little marketing nerd, like the little marketing nerd of Jason Pantana. And I adore everything online marketing.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. Lady in red, Coach Michelle. Red every Friday.
Red every Friday. Remember, everyone deployed. So I think my avatar client is probably, I know it is, broker owners of boutique small brokerages. That's if I really want to get super granular with it. I also love working with client agents that are probably not brand new, but maybe after their first year, they've got a little bit of the basic knowledge of how to do it, but they want to develop their skills a little bit. I am not a scripting coach, but I could, it's not my specialty. I could coach to it, but I really love helping people with small market domination. So if you are, everyone thinks because I'm located in South Dakota that I don't know anything about selling real estate everywhere else, but I do. But I really do love taking the people who are in like 100,000 or less communities and showing them how they can be involved in their community and be involved in the business at a state level and use it to their advantage.
Excellent. And you demonstrate that in your life every week. So congratulations on that.
I do. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Coach Dan.
All right. So I would say an ideal client for me has been in the business anywhere between 10 and 15 years or more. They've probably got some pretty messed up systems. They feel like they've been repeating the same year in business over and over again. They're either a broker owner or a team leader, and they find themselves in this constant rabbit hole of making these emotional decisions about their business, which don't yield them the top level of productivity. And so what I do is I connect their emotional brain and their intelligent brain to make better overall decisions, come up with a higher level of productivity in their business, increase their bottom line, increase their GCI, put in systems, operations, a great tech stack to be able to help them support the people that are on their teams and make sure that they are growing at the highest level possible.
Excellent. Excellent. And you know, I've known a lot of you for a while, and I've never asked this question when we were together. So this is kind of a cool thing for me to figure out. For me, it's going to be social media and organic growth, websites, IDX, all those you know things you send out into the world and you hope people trigger and grab onto. I can coach to systems. I can coach to productivity and time blocking. I'm militant about my time blocking. I am not a P&L coach. If you need somebody to fix your QuickBooks, call somebody else because I am not the numbers person. I'm the son of an auditor and an accountant. Dan, you're going to get that person? Great. Everybody send those to Dan. I am the son of an auditor and an accountant, but I could not add 2 and 2 together and get 6 each time. So it's just not my forte, but I'm really good in learning more about what I'm doing. In the Tom Ferry world and in business in general right now, we're taping this right now in September 2024. My gosh, 2025 right around the corner. And we just got the wish book of catalog of toys and things we want for 2025. And I always think of business planning sessions as like you got that catalog in the mail and you're going to go dog ear everything you want grandma to buy you for Christmas. All the things that you want for next year we can talk about. Talk to me about what you love about business planning season and what do you maybe see clients doing that maybe undercuts their growth. And Sandra, I saw your hand go up, and this is just free for all. Everybody just kind of jump in.
I love business planning season because it's also fall. And which season? So that's when we make all our dreams come true. Business planning season is amazing, and understanding business planning as a whole, not just how many units, how many transactions, and how much money I want to make. It's about understanding what's your motivation, your purpose, your values. Where do you see yourself in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Because that's what will allow you to get up every morning and do it. We have to put the emotional element there, the goosebump crying moment, so that then we can have the real inspiration to break the business down. Remember, we need to have a personal culture, and our business has to thrive on culture, because that's exactly who are we going to invite to join us in our business as a team. And then we break down. I love the business planning in the Tom Ferry business plan, because it breaks down to the T, how many conversations, how many emails, what do you have to do, what do you need to do each Q, and then we have the tracking and the measuring, and Coach Dan, the finances and the profits and the expenses. Most importantly, your SWOT, which is fundamental, and not to really put a finger on what you're not good at, but to understand what you're good at and what can we do to get you to good at that when you have weaknesses. And the marketing plan, offline and online, what do you thrive at? What are you good at? And it's important doing it with a coach, because if not, you will say, I want to be this year's rising YouTube star. And let me tell you, that requires a lot of marketing knowledge, right, Coach Bob?
Who else has got?
So
Emily, I'm sorry, Carrie, go ahead and just unmute and just go.
What I love about it is going back through what people did this last year and seeing the good things that they did and what they did right, because everybody's so caught up into beating themselves up and, oh, I could do this, on and on. And then when you actually go through the numbers with them and they see, and then where their business came from, and just looking at all the possibilities and the opportunities that are available to them, if they just, create the system, dig a little bit deeper in doing what they were doing right, and just getting more consistent with it. It's not, excuse me, it's not rocket science, and I think that's the whole thing, is just really breaking it down to really simplify it and make it easier for them to say, wow, I really can do this. I did this, and it's not going to take this much more to get me here. And I think that's what we do as coaches, is really break it down for them so they can see, it's just like, I love people when they keep track of their numbers. It's just like, you keep track of your numbers and it's just like, wow, I'm really not that bad. You know what I mean? I did this and I got this from it. And, and it's exciting to see that light in their eyes when they realize that they can do it. If they really do have the ability to do it, it's just, once again, fine tuning and tweaking it just to do a little bit more of that. But it's like what Sandra said, about getting their first year, 2-year, 5-year plan so that they can kind of look down. I coach a lot of people out of the business, you know what I mean, that are at that point in their life where they're ready to have, have people come in and help them so that they can get out of the business. And that's exciting for me as well, to look at their 5-year plan and say, okay, great. What do you have in your savings account? How are you setting yourself up to retire? And who do we need to bring on, or even bring, possibly create a team or bring a partner in to help you, when you get ready to exit the business. What do they say, that realtors never retire, we just die? And so we really want to, create an exit plan for you if that's exactly where you want to go. So it's exciting. I agree with Sandra. It's my favorite time of year.
I love what you just said, Carrie, because it's very much on the same lines of how I feel. The whole business plan is almost like an inflection point, and what I call it is, it's the time of the year where it's time for a wheel alignment. We've just been spending so much time focusing on the day-to-day, and we all have clients that they have projects they want to work on. They have things they want to implement. They come back from Summit and their head is blown off and they're so excited about everything they want to implement. And yet, when I look at the big picture, this business planning moment is that time to say, okay, what have I been buried in the sand about? What have I done this year? what is not serving me? What do I need to let go of? And for me as a coach, I take that time to realign with my clients as well, because I want to see, where am I matching them where they are? So where do we need to turn? What are our goals for the next 90 days? How do we accomplish what we want to set out to accomplish? And it's also great to be able to see their progression year after year. When they came to you and let's say they were doing 500,000 in GCI this year, they're closing in on 750, and then bang, we can hit a business plan with really great strategic action items and action plans to be able to hit $1 million in GCI. So when you see that progress, you can say, hey, look at what we've done together, look at what we've built. Now let's figure out what are the 3 key components that are going to have to happen, that are going to have to come together to be able to make this happen in the next 90 days so that we can get on our way. And one of the things that I look at are operations, lead generation, marketing, systems, and people. And bringing all that together in one and saying, what of those pieces are broken? What do we need to fix? What do we need to push up? What do we need to grow on in order to be able to have an incredible 2025?
You know, one thing that I also love with it, and going on a more granular level, right? So taking it from the big and getting granular. One thing that's been really successful with my clients is, you know, we obviously look at our big goals, but taking the Tom Ferry plan, the business plan that we have, and actually using it to drill down to what every person needs to do every day, but more specifically, getting into by lead source. So let's say, for example, you know, we want to do, you know, 10 deals this next coming year that are from our past clients. Like, you know, we're a solo agent. If we want to have 10 of them, the Tom Ferry ecosystem or the plan can actually go in and tell you how many specific calls you need to make every day and how many conversations you need to make every day by the individual lead sources. And I think that's important for people when they're building their days, when they're figuring out what they actually need to do every day, of being able to say, okay, I need to have 5 conversations with past clients every single day. And this way they're not only hitting their big goals, but they're hitting their big goals by reaching their daily goals. And it really helps just organize people and not get overwhelmed. Because again, remember, my ideal client, primarily, most of them, a lot of them have ADHD. So sometimes we get overwhelmed by looking at massive goals. I'll do nothing instead of being overwhelmed. I will sit on my couch and do nothing. So to accomplish that, I take these big goals and I make them into more manageable pieces. And by using the business plan, I can help clients actually go through and figure out exactly what they have to do today, so they're not overwhelmed with what I need to hit at the end of the month, the week, or the quarter.
Yeah, what I really love about business planning time of year is right now people are tired. You know, they've been grinding and, you know, they're having to adjust and they're tired. And so taking the time, you know, especially the way Tom has our business plan laid out, you know, I like to dwell in the possibilities and let them just kind of let go a little bit of this past year. We obviously we look at that, but let's see, how can we reset? Where do we need to reset? And get them excited about it, inject that passion back into them, you know, with the goal setting. And then like Carrie said, it's not rocket science. And I love when you can see that light bulb go off when they realize like, wow, this is really attainable. I can do this. Because some people will come, and we've all had it, where they go, oh, you know, I sold 4 houses this year, but I want to sell 500 next year. And, you know, bringing them into the path of you could sell 500 homes. It's just not going to be like in the next 60 days or 180 days. Okay. It's like going to the gym and wanting to lose 100 pounds in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen. We can make a path for that. We can make a plan for that. And so that's what I really love about it, is they can see that this is the path to get to where I want, but really helping them dial in on what it is that they do, because sometimes they don't know.
Very true. Very true. I like the leading indicator, lagging indicator approach as well. If you want to make a change from A to B, from last year to this year, let's look at what you actually put into your business last year as far as your time blocking. your number of calls, your number of appointments, your number of texts, your number of emails, the number of posts you made on each of the socials. Where did those numbers go? And what can we change this year to add incrementally to those numbers to get you to where you're saying you want to be? Because I describe it this way, because I always talk in images, and food is, if you buy sugar, flour, and butter, that's a leading indicator that there's a cake coming. The cake is the lagging indicator. It's already made, and by the way, it's going to be chocolate and it's going to look lovely. But the leading indicators are that you actually went to the grocery store and bought those things. If you don't go do that, you're not going to make the cake. So if you're not putting in the time and you're not documenting, and Tom Ferry world, we count everything or it's not counted, right? So if you're not counting the number of your calls and texts and appointments and things like that, why do you think we're going to get to this level? And when did you decide that future you is not as important as today you? Because I don't work for you today. I work for future you. And they're calling me on the phone saying, why are you not holding me to the fire to get all of my calls and all of my appointments and all of my listings and everything going? Because I need your help. And I always try to ask that question of, when did you decide the future you is not as important? Because you're putting everybody else ahead of that person. And that's the wrong order that we should be working in.
I love that you brought the lagging and the leading, because that's part of the 4 disciplines of execution, which Tom always mentions a lot. And one of the 2 basic premises of the 4 disciplines of execution is, you're going to make a business plan, but you make sure it doesn't live in the bottom of a drawer or in the deep end of your computer where you will never, ever find it again. A business plan is a living document. It lives and breathes. And if you just have it there and you forget it and you never, ever pull it up again, you didn't make a plan. That's what I find so important of having a coach, because we not just do the accountability and the tracking, we do Q reviews. And in each Q review, we have the chance to see how you did and be honest and vulnerable about what you need to do more of, start doing, do less of, or stop doing, right? And tracking and measuring and having an accountability partner with you, which is your coach, will take you to the future you. I have clients that say, I do have the conversations, and then I go, okay, let's role play. And you're going to send me your conversations. And then it's so easy. In 2 weeks, you can see why they're not having any results. Because either they're not asking, they're not saying, or they're doing 1 daily or 2 daily conversations. So a business plan is a live document. That's the first premise. Second premise is, get out of the whirlwind and the drama. It won't get you anywhere.
And the microphone got me. Michelle, did you get a chance to comment on that one?
I just wanted to say that one of the things, and Coach Emily and I have talked about this a lot offline, that being coachable is something that's a huge piece of this. And so I always try to prep them when we're doing the business planning part to say, okay, that's great. You have this 500 unit goal. That's great. But you have to understand you're going to have to do a lot of really uncomfortable things to get to that place. And what we have to break through is that line where you say, this is how I've always done it. And then now I'm really uncomfortable, but that's what you need to do to get to the next place. And if you're not going to be coachable, then you're not going to get there. And so getting them to trust you and trust the process. That's my favorite part about going through the business plan.
Okay, so while I've got you here, because you just touched on that and makes me wonder about this next question I have is, what do you see people do that undercuts their success? Because, I'm going to tell you I want to lose weight, but I'm going to go grab cake and carbs every day. And I didn't make it to the gym this week. And, now it's 7 months in a row I haven't gone. What do you see people that do that undercuts their success, and how are you maybe guiding them out of those bad practices that we all have?
Well, it's the same thing that every one of our clients do, right? There's always time for something else. They don't like making cold calls. They don't like, they don't want to do the things that get them the things they want in the end. And so I like to have we have those sheets, you can find them in a Loom, right? That have like the tracking system that they can do when they make a call, write down who it was. And I want to show them that that if you make the 100 calls, that there's going to be, let's just say 6 people that will answer the phone. You got to get through those 100 calls to get those 6 people. So don't think of it as a rejection. Think of it as, I have to get through 94 calls to get my 6 people that are going to answer, and don't look at it as a rejection.
I think there's something to be said as well about agents not understanding the value of having an accountability partner or having a group to someone to be accountable with. I have a friend, we'll call him Doug, right? Doug has been talking to me for months and months and months about wanting to, he's been on a weight loss journey and about wanting to actually get into like lifting and everything like this. So for me, just as a small accountability, I find reels online, and I every day send him a reel where it's it's somebody yelling at Doug to actually go to the gym. And guess what? After a while, Doug started actually going to the gym. And so it's just having that. And of course, it's a little bit of a jest with us, but Doug is actually like making a change and making an impact. Now, of course, I get these funny reels and pictures from him with the dogs all over him and stuff. However, it's just something that I'm able to help him with because, it's something that he struggles with on a daily basis. And so our agents, I encourage all of my coaching clients, we have, almost a mini ecosystem within the ecosystem to where they're able to rely on each other and then, find people with outside of that and actually find those accountability partners and find people to rely on. And even if it's just like, hey, I'm having a bad day, can we talk? Sometimes that's needed. Sometimes we need support. And I think agents just in general underestimate how cathartic and how helpful that is within their business.
Anybody else want to jump on that, Carrie?
I always tell people, because everybody's like, well, I had to do this for this person. I had to do this for this person. So they make all of these excuses on why they're not able to do it because this email came in and I had to take care of it, and I always tell them, when you're whole and healthy, focus on you. When you're whole and healthy and you do everything that you need to do in a day, it's amazing how everything else in your life falls into place. But we're so focused on pointing our finger out here, we're never going to complete what we need to complete in here. And I think that's one of the biggest things is that because everybody thinks that you're being selfish, if I focus on me, that I'm being selfish. And it's just like, no. It's when you do what you need to do every single day and get that done, it's amazing how everything else in your life will fall into place. And I always say that, especially people with kids, they are not going to remember that you may have missed the soccer game or you were on the phone while you were at the soccer game. But when you make the money to take them to Disneyland, they're going to remember Disneyland. And I think that's one of the biggest things is really, focusing on you and getting what you need to get done every single day. You can do it in a shorter period of time because you have less distractions. And once you're whole and healthy and everything is done, everything in your life falls into place. And once they can get their mind wrapped around that it's okay to make you first, to make you number one, everything else falls into place and they're able to accomplish much more today.
And Carrie, I love it. I'm just going to add to that. I love to tell my clients, there's no such thing as an emergency in real estate. If the house is on fire, call 911. If you're dying, call 911. You could call me afterwards when you're not freaking out, but there's no such thing. So prioritizing and time blocking and all of those tactics should be put into place, and you can schedule the time to take the calls. So as Carrie said, you can get stuff done.
Well, and I also think it's important to figure out, is it self-sabotage consciously or unconsciously? Is it, so I always ask, I said, did you think about doing it and you didn't do it? Or did you just forget? Like it just wasn't a priority for you. And so sometimes when we can dive in and I thought about it, and then I did something else, then we have to dive into that. We have to look at that and say, okay, tell me more about why are you avoiding this? Is it really important to you? Do you see the value in doing it? Yes, I see the value in doing it. Okay, then how do we make a plan? How do we, what's the strategy that you can work, that you can implement and plan in your schedule to get it done? And if they keep recommitting to that, whatever it is, a goal, a step, an action, whatever, then you just don't let up. You have to find a way to, what is the accountability that they need? And that's probably one of the most rewarding things as a coach, is when they get over that hurdle and they start doing it, and now it's a habit. So that's what I would say is, why are they not getting it done? Is it because they're avoiding it, or because it's a scheduling problem and it's just not a priority?
Yeah, and I everything you just said, yes. Why are they, what is their mindset behind it? What is their lack of drive behind it? What is their fear of it?
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to unravel that. If I had that on your accountability for 4 times and you still haven't done it, we're not going to talk about anything else until we sit here. And I'll tell people when I first meet them, I'm not a drill sergeant coach. I will not yell at you to get no. But we're not leaving the dining room table until we have the awkward conversation. We're going to sit here day and night until, that food's going to get cold, but we're going to sit here and we're not leaving until we talk. Because you've wanted to do X, you've told me you need to do X, Y, and Z, and you're not doing it. So we're going to talk. And that makes people more uncomfortable than if I just yelled at them sometimes. So, Dan, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But look, where are they doing in other areas of their life? You know what I mean? Where are they finding success in other areas of their life? Because they're doing it somewhere. You know what I mean? And find that success. Okay, great, you're doing it here. So how do we take that and move it into here? You know what I mean? And just say that you're able to do it here. So you can do this. You know what I mean? We just need to repurpose it to get you to do it here. And a lot of times then they can see, wow, you're right, I do it here. And how do I repurpose it so I can do it over here?
Once they overcome it, they're so proud.
Right.
That thing I put off and put off. Why did I put it off? Look at what I accomplished. But it's just human nature to avoid the things that are uncomfortable. And Tom will tell us, we all growth is outside of our comfort zone. And we don't have a time problem, we have a prioritization problem. Both of which are true, and I'm grumpy that he's right, because I'm living that myself in many ways. So, Coach Dan, did you want to chime in on this one?
Just, a couple of small comments. There's one question that I often ask, and it's, were you not able to get it done because of something, or just be upfront? Are you just not going to do it? Because I want to figure out, is there actually a roadblock? Is there a mindset issue, something behind the actual activity that's making them say, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to push it off? Because the reality is me having a coaching call with them today and saying, all right, we didn't do it last week. Let's plan for it this week. And then coming on the call next week, only for them to tell me they didn't do it. We've now identified a little too late that they're just not going to do it. So that's one of the questions I ask. The other thing that I find is really interesting is there's often a big disconnect between the actual action and their big goals. They have sometimes an inattention to their big goals, and that's like what we were talking about with respect to the business plan of completing it and then shelving it. And so my question always comes back to, let's look at the big picture. Let's look at your big goals. Is avoiding this serving you and serving your goal? And if it's not, what do we do about it? How do we change the way that you see this? How do you get a better understanding of how this is going to add up to your goal so that we can get it done? It's all a mind game. What we do, what we choose to do, what we choose not to do, this is all our head that's dictating to us. Get it done, don't get it done. Avoid, move toward. So as long as you can identify those things, it's so much easier to start breaking them down and piecing them apart.
Very good. Very smart. Okay, so we'll wrap up with this question here, and thank you all for being here. What are you doing in your personal life? What are you growing in your business? What are you doing to better yourself, not just for you and your world, because we all have our own little worlds here, but also making you stronger for your coaching clients? What's something that you're looking to add to your arsenal or index of things that you do that might lead to you being a better coach, and somebody listening might go, oh my God, I need that too. I want to be part of their journey as a coaching client for each of you here.
So I'm actually doing two things. Number one, I don't naturally gear towards feelings, right? We'll say feelings, but I don't naturally gear towards asking how someone's doing. I'm a hype person, but I don't necessarily do that. So one thing I've actually been doing is I just attended a WIRE retreat. So women influencing real estate. And that was actually really helpful because it was a retreat that wasn't, what are you doing for marketing and real estate? It was really kind of becoming vulnerable and getting to know ourselves as a person and working. So that's one thing as far as like working on myself so that I can be a better coach, and not only just a better coach, but a better spouse, a better parent, all of that has been towards my journey. The other thing that I'm working that's on a completely opposite side is I've actually been working on presentation and speaking skills, not only how to present myself, but in addition to that, of how to train my clients to be able to present better. Because what is a listing appointment? A listing appointment is a presentation, it's a speech in front of two people. So I've been working on that so that not only when my clients have listing appointments and buyer presentations, they can present better, but then also when they do have opportunities within the ecosystem, maybe it's a webinar, any other type of opportunities, they can be better prepared and learn to be more impactful as well.
So follow-up question for you real quick. What have you learned about yourself as a presenter, as you're getting, because when I get up, I can talk to the world, but every once in a while my legs start quivering and my belly, and I get like, what are you learning about yourself?
So as far as presentation, it's and one thing that I've learned on the journey, just in speaking with the company and everything, is that realistically it's less content than what people think. Your presentation should only be about 7% content, 36% stories, and then the rest is how you tell it. So if you think about it, a person that comes in and they say, and they have the exact same tone the entire time, and they don't change it, they don't give any pauses, they may give a really great mic drop moment, they don't actually stop and let you soak it in, it's not as impactful. People they may take some notes, but they don't remember it, right? And let's say you're one of 10 agents that are interviewing, you want to be memorable. So learning how to change tone, how to tell stories in an effective manner, how to become relatable, how to understand when you get louder, when you get softer. Because an important point isn't necessarily about yelling at someone. Sometimes it's about making people lean in. So it's just going through and learning all of those little nuances of, giving great information. That's one thing, but also becoming memorable. Because in a listing appointment, if we're fighting against people, if we're fighting tooth and nail between 7, 6, 10, 20 other agents, we want to be memorable. We want them to remember us over anybody else. So just stuff like that. It's been going through my journey of like speaking and then being able to teach it as well.
Who else?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm doing anything new per se. I mean, I've been, in this industry since before people were driving. But it's always been for me, I'm a life learner. And this industry, especially, 1999, 2000 forward, it's just changing so quickly, that I really carve out time to stay, I guess cutting edge might be a little strong, but to stay ahead of the game, because by the time a lot of people absorb strategies, they're obsolete or there's something better. And so I'm a life learner, and I really carve out time to make sure that I'm learning about new systems and new opportunities for clients. And it's something that I will do until I can't read or hear anymore, as I will be learning. Yeah, that's kind of my thing.
Excellent.
I'm a walker, and I walk a lot, so I always listen to books on tape. And I always get little nuggets, from motivational books, but even other books. Sometimes I like to read, like I read the book about the Sackler family and the whole the drugs and the morphine or the Oxycontin and all of that stuff and what happened. And it's interesting, even in those books that you read, there's little nuggets that you get about what this family. So I'm always looking for nuggets. You know what I mean? When I listen to these books, I'm listening to the Dalai Lama's cat right now, which is really, I am a cat person. And so you just get all of these little nuggets that I'm able to share with people, or just giving a different perspective, a different way of looking at things. And then as far as my coaching calls, I always use my coaching calls as an example, you know what I mean, of how to present. So, how many questions am I asking? How am I leading them to where I want them to go, so that when they're on a listing presentation, they're asking the questions, you know what I mean? And they can lead the people to a yes. And I think that's part of it, is just using myself as an example on how they can be in their life, and presenting and asking questions, and just like Emily said, leaning in, and finding out what's really going on and what the true motivation is with these people. And once again, digging deeper and asking more questions, not staying on the surface.
For me, it's really focusing on everything that has to do with being on the edge of branding and marketing, and using AI within that to be able to facilitate the work. So I always used to think that I was always so fast and quick with computers. But I think, like, as I've gotten older, I find that it's become a struggle to even answer an email these days. So I'm just trying to stay on the forefront of technology and be 100% in everything that has to do with AI, making things easier with respect to your marketing initiatives, your emails, how you're creating your texts, being a better prompter to come up with ideas, because we can't constantly be in this wheel of coming up with the best content, coming up with the best ideas. And frankly, Listing Leads has helped a lot with that. And so what I've done is I've taken some of the Listing Leads content, and I do have, I would say maybe about 25% of my roster are Canadian clients. And so I've adapted some of that for a Canadian market to be able to help them, use that content in a way that would be really, really helpful. So I'm trying to just get stronger and better when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Excellent, excellent. So for myself, I have actually enrolled in a master's degree program in digital marketing, which I am starting this week. And so hopefully by this time in 12 months, I will have a Master of Science in Digital Marketing Management. And I know what I know in digital marketing. I know what I know in website design. I want to know what I don't know. And I'm kind of the type, if there's a certification or a merit badge out there, I want it, because I want to put that on my uniform and go. So I've already in the first week learned some new things. I'm like, oh, I got to go change all my websites and help all my people, go get more and gather it together. So I'm just kind of on fire for that right now. And the more I can learn, the better. I think AI has great opportunities and great things that we can do with it. I also don't want people to think it's a end all be all for everything you should do, because we should still be doing know, like, and trust activities where people get to know us, like us, and trust us. And nobody likes to sit there and yell, receptionist into the phone trying to get to the person who actually talked to them about what their problem is at the place. So I think we need to have a balanced approach to all of it. And I hope to learn more, because one of the classes I'm in is emerging technologies and the ethics of how to use it. So, that's my bailiwick right now. I've got 4 textbooks over here. I'm going to spend some time at the library tomorrow reading up and learning about all the new things in digital marketing that maybe I do or don't know about. And, I'll just bring it back and tell you all what I learned. So that's me in a nutshell. So thank you guys for being here. I'm going to post this out there. We all come back next time. We'll have better questions and new questions next time.
You
Okay,
bet.
take care, everybody.
Thanks for organizing, Bob. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
That's something I can do. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.